up? Welcome to another episode of Burn the Wagon. Today we're going to have Auntie BB on, who is a performer from the Bay, I believe. So I'm going to invite you in right now. Hold up. So you should get an invite. If not, there's a little camera with a plus. You can hit that, and I'll bring you in. But yeah, you should have the invite sent to you right now. And join in whenever you. Okay, cool. Hey, what's
Hi.
up? Thank you for joining me today. I appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you for having me. Hold on, I'm gonna go outside where the light's better.
All right, cool. Sounds good. Get posted up wherever you feel comfortable, and we'll get going.
Cool.
All right. Thank you for joining me on Burn the Wagon. We're here to burn the wagon. There's capitalism, patriarchy, and colonialism. So today my guest is Auntie BB, and then we're going to get started on a little prayer that we got going, and then we'll get going on the questions for you. All right. I want to send love to anybody out there that's suffering from mental health issues. I want to send love to anybody that's suffering from domestic violence issues. I want to send love to any of our ancestors that have passed on to the spirit realm. I want to send love to any of you that are listening today live or going to listen to later. I want to send love to our precious Mother Earth, and here I am on Amamusin territory in Santa Cruz, California. If you guys want to drop where you guys are at, definitely do that in the comments. But my guest today, I'm going to go ahead and give yourself an intro, and then we'll go from there.
Cool. Thanks for your prayer. Yeah, I'm originally from Hawaii, but now I'm in the Bay. I'm Auntie BB Anuhea. Auntie BB Anuhea is the full name. Out of a lot of performances and art things that I've done, I decided to attach Anuhea to my burlesque career because Anuhea is my given Hawaiian name.
Uh-huh.
And so instead of playing so many different characters, I'm just playing extreme versions of myself. But yeah, I'm born and raised Oahu, and I've been on the road for 2 years, and now I found a spot in the Bay. So I'm here in the Bay for a second, and we'll see from there. But I'm a burlesque performer, poet, performance artist, singer, ukulele player. I do a lot of different things.
You're all around. You play. You have many different cards you can play.
Yeah.
So what brought you out to the Bay?
Well, I made the learned mistake. I fresh off the boat moved to Oregon, and then I was like, gotta go. So I after that, I just started going on the road, and there was intention in the beginning. Then the band broke up, and then more of my intention was just to follow the weather. So I went to California, and then I was hopping between here and SoCal, and honestly, vibing and creating strong community in both places. And eventually, I just created a lot of community here. Met the Cali natives and found this place that I'm staying at through a lot of them and a lot of people who volunteer with a lot of different projects out here.
Yeah, the Bay has a big Cali native population that I honestly wasn't aware of, and I'm also just like as of recently spending time in the Bay, and it's fucking dope. It's so much fun.
No, it is.
Because I went from Mendocino County, which is super tiny, little small town, middle of nowhere.
Yeah.
And then to Santa Cruz, which is wide as shit. And then I've been trying to hang out in the Bay, and it's just the different types of culture is wild.
No,
so how was the culture shock from going from Hawaii to Oregon?
It was I don't know. I guess I felt so naive because I was like, I guess I did queer research on multiple places to look for a safer place for to live my queer fantasy and queer life. And that's why I moved off island. So I did that research, but I didn't really, I don't know. back home in Hawaii, we have like everyone is mixed of something, if not at least like Asian and white or light skin or something. So I'm used to that, and I didn't know I had to do. Oh, is there places that are all white? And there are really predominantly white, and I didn't know Oregon was like that, but Oregon is very much like that.
It's hella
And
white.
yeah,
It's whiter. Santa Cruz is white, but Oregon's fucking white.
yeah, yeah,
And like redneck
yeah.
Oregon too. Like it's the middle of nowhere. It's like I mean I've never been up there. It's like so I can't say it's all like that, but like
But
it's
it's
pretty.
very much like that. It's like rednecks and Proud Boys on the majority of California or majority of Oregon, and then it's like just cringy appropriative white liberals in Portland.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So let's get started on talking about the burlesque. You say you're a burlesque
Yeah.
performer. What got you started into burlesque?
Well, actually, my transition.
Okay.
So, cause I was getting tons of like just random gigs, in many different realms in like the gay boy nightlife,
Uh-huh.
and then slowly, like once the titties start budding a little bit, once you start wearing a little bit of lashes and a little bit more eyeliner and blush, I got booked like losing my bookings, and I was like, damn, okay, what else should I do? And I know I'm a good performer. I've done Shakespeare, opera, and other sorts of plays, and like even Hawaiian plays and hula, and I've been performing my whole life, my whole childhood. So I was like, I guess I can get on the stage. Drag is pretty good. Burlesque is pretty okay on the West Coast. So eventually I started committing, because really I just needed to learn how to do a makeup beat and throw on looks, because I could do the performance. So then I eventually started doing that. And I was like living in this weird place in SoCal. It's called Slab City.
I've heard of it.
Yeah. So I mean, I lost housing while I was on the road, and so there are some places you can go. So I went to Slab City, and Slab City had a drag show. So I started there, and it was great because my first ever idea and performance I did was ripping up an American flag off my body that I had corseted on, and then I just like shredded it off on stage. And I also did a lot of other stuff, but it was too like, you know the artist Tanya Tagaq?
I haven't. No.
Oh, okay, look her up.
Okay.
Tanya Tagaq is a really dope Alaskan native, and she does the throat singing.
Uh-huh.
And she has this song called Tongues, where most of the song she's like doing her throat singing, and she's also saying, you stole our tongues, you stole our tongues. And eventually she's like, you stole our tongues, I don't want your God, I don't want your God, I just want to come. So that was my first number ever, and I was like ripping off the flag, because fuck that flag. And then I just like, I've been trying to build up from there.
Okay, so you've always been a performer. So
Yeah.
you started out you started out performing back in what would you say, middle school, you said?
Yeah,
Okay.
middle school.
So
Yeah.
who got you into that?
Well, I mean, I guess I even did chorus in when I was like 5 or 6. But I don't know, I guess I was just always hanging out with like the queers and their closeted queers or the femmes on island, and a lot of them did theater.
And
so I just was like, I want to do it.
That's something I've talked about this so many times on the spot. I've said this probably every episode, but theater is something I completely wish I got into when I was in high school or like earlier. You know,
Can.
I know. Yeah, you're right. You're absolutely right. And like, cause like I just was like obsessed with just like certain shows and just like being able to tap into a character and just like get out of yourself or whatever. You know.
Right. And I think that was one of my biggest passions too, because once I memorized the lines and I like pushed past the shyness and then just like embraced my confidence, like it was always a fun character to play. And so that's why I've since starting drag and burlesque, I've um well, that's why I've always just like loved performing. And with my drag and burlesque, I'm trying to like just like look at the daily life of me and yeah, bring an extreme version, because I feel like I've also been cast for like some films and some art projects that were just not me whatsoever. And there's an energy thing that my, or maybe like an identity thing that my acting coach growing up would do, and I lost track of that. And she would have us like basically let go of the character, because if you don't let go of the character, you're going to be like living with that for a good week or so or more. You know, you could embody it like the dude who played the Joker kind of thing. You
Yeah,
know,
yeah.
it
Heath
could really
Ledger.
get to, yeah, it could really get to you. And some characters have really gotten to me, and like that's where I talk about in like some situations. Oh, okay, so one of my biggest poems is decolonize my pussy. um
Is that
and
anywhere that people can listen to that?
um it's like scattered on my Instagram. It's scattered on my Instagram for now, but I need to create a link tree.
Definitely,
um
definitely wanna check that out.
yeah, so that poem is based off of like just a lot of art things and projects and jobs and careers that I've just like played so white, because I was used to like dating a lot of white people or like fucking a lot of white people in Hawaii. So when I came here, I still knew that game, because like we play the tourists like they play us, and we think we're playing it the right way, but like down the line I was just like, oh no, this is like really colonizing my life if I'm not doing the thing that my acting teacher said, which is to let go of that character. If I'm like playing into how they're fetishizing me, or if I'm playing into like my light skin privilege or whatever, then if I don't let that go, it just sticks around, and then I'm not really doing the work that I want to do.
Do you have any characters that or plays that you've been a part of so far that you have like that are up there on your you think are like your favorite like characters to play?
I think characters, yes, because I've debuted a few characters in my burlesque career as of lately.
Uh-huh.
I've been doing burlesque and drag for only like a year and a half. Um, but it's really exciting because I have been using it to express like my gender fluidity and um my ideas and my dreams. And so like uh recently I've debuted Uncle BB because I got a lot of drag king family. So Unc came on stage at this beach drag show, Golden Hour. And then you know, like I wish I almost put on the glasses for Uncle, but like Uncle just like sits in the chair, drinks the beer, and just like, hey baby, you know. So that's where I like let out a lot of comedy. But then like Auntie BB does a lot of like political and sexy stuff. I say to a lot of people, I'm like, in my performance, I want to either make you cry or wet for abolishing the government or etc. along those lines. Burn the wagon.
I'm down.
Um,
I'm down with it.
and then but my recent favorite, which I've brought a lot of like attention with the this song called Lilikoi by Paula Fuga, and I've like remixed it with like a lot of different things, like my poetry and other things. And that's been my favorite character to pull out on stage. Is I call her Auntie Brown Sugar Boba,
Okay.
and so she's Auntie BB when she's hungry.
Is that what BB stands for? Oh no, no, brown sugar BBS.
BB's just BB,
Okay, yeah, yeah,
but then like I've just been like adding to it because Uncle BB is also Uncle Boto Bangas, which is a funny thing back home. Bangas is
yeah.
like bangas, but like boto is in Filipino is penis. So it's like boto bangas. I bang my boto to the boto bangas. Hey, you hammer. I look in the mirror and I don't think, am I a hammer or what? So that's Uncle BB.
Okay, I love the character because that's like that's it's kind of some like similar to Uncles on the Res. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
They're wild, sitting there drinking beer, doing the same shit.
yeah, the same shit, except mine is on the beach or the luau most likely.
I hadn't realized that there were so many like things that go into burlesque performance because I thought it was just dance.
So I've been explained this way, and I took it and I like ran with it. And not every burlesque performer is like this, but most are, honestly. Um, I just no, I'm just laughing at a comment real quick because that's my type.
Yeah.
Yeah. Boto. But but I got explained this way, and I use it to explain so forth. Is it's burlesque is like similar to stripping, but with a message.
Okay.
Because there's so like in like erotic dancing,
Hmm.
there's like big the three like bigger categories is like pole. There's pole dancing, which is a huge workout, and it's something I'm also learning. So I'm trying to eventually combine pole into my work. And then there's burlesque, which is what I'm doing. And like the drag and burlesque world in here and many places actually like collide a lot. But burlesque is very specific and usually stays pretty sexy. The reveals are the most important next to the message. The message is like the most, and then go-going. And so I've go-goed like since I got out of high school, which is not bad money, but it's not great money either. Because like go-going is usually, honestly, the more people who need go-go's these days are people who do like after hours and like underground parties. So then they'll like pay you a flat rate for a go-go, and then you just make tips, but you're not making that much tips because people don't come to tip the go-go's. They just come to like get high.
Okay.
But then you got on the other side of the spectrum, you got pole, and then pole, like all the girls make bank. They make like stacks on the way out because like people come for that ass on pole. And then burlesque, I look at it as an in between because go you're also hyping up the party, and burlesque is very hyping up the party. And burlesque is also like you can, at least with my burlesque, it gets very performance arty. I always have a message. I lately have a prayer of some sort. Um, yeah, and you're also stripping. I've seen some burlesque like get close to pole, but usually they'll do like at least for me, I'll do like floor work, and like a lot of pole dancers would do floor work, but they eventually take it onto the pole. While with burlesque, I'll just eventually just like do a message because they're also burlesque. Like there's sexy stripping sometimes while people are live singing, sometimes while people are sharing poetry, sometimes while like there's a lot of different categories of cabaret and burlesque, and I like it. Like it's the artist's container to like do what they want with it, and it's really fun.
In all these, because I feel like I've heard of go-go a lot, like when people talk about like DC area. That's like
Okay.
something that happens. That's like the parties over there.
Yeah.
Are all these like happening all at the same night? Like in the same, like, like would you have a go-go dancers like in the same performance or the same night as a burlesque dancer? Or are these all different types
Sometimes.
of parties?
I guess it depends on the party. I've
Okay.
seen go-go's and pole dancers at the same party because then they'll have people on the pole and then they'll also have people on the corners or on the side boxes, and they're just like dancing because it's good to have like a consistent go-go flow while like the next pole dancer is getting ready. But then or like pole dancers who are like who are maybe like only just like myself, who are maybe just like starting pole, then they'll like pull but like just go more. And I guess depend if the party has drag or burlesque, then I'll like usually then you'll see all that in one. But I don't know, burlesque is a very specific category. There aren't even that many burlesque crews and events in the Bay. A lot of them are like drag shows that get burlesque. I would say the biggest place that I found more burlesque was New Orleans when I was on like this, because I'm also Choctaw. I'm Hawaiian, Choctaw, and Asian and white. And so when I was like visiting New Orleans and also like um like connecting with my Choctaw ancestors, like last minute got booked on the street for a random burlesque show in New Orleans, because burlesque is popping in New Orleans. Like, it's
I
popping.
feel like
Like,
everything's popping in
yeah,
New Orleans.
everything art related too. Like art and food. If you're in
Yeah,
art or food, you're set in New Orleans.
yeah, definitely.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah.
so are your most of your performance in the Bay Area?
Lately, yeah. Cause I found like a really awesome homie who's like, I'm subletting their place, and I love the Bay Area. It's a great time. Um,
Would you would is New Orleans somewhere that you eventually want to take this, or is the Bay somewhere you want to be
oh
for a
yeah,
while?
oh yeah, oh yeah. I think I I was on the road for like 2 years, not knowing what I was doing, and like just like half key struggling, like struggling, but I looked good. And uh, I think something I've learned is that I need rest if I want to pursue what I want to do, like my passion, my prayer, my art, and even my creativity, whether it's poetry or on the stage. It's like it flows better when I get rest. So I'm hoping to avoid having to go on the road again, and yeah, I want to bring it back home to Hawaii. I definitely want to hit New Orleans again, because New Orleans is just a blast, first off. And if I could like just continue my burlesque and like continuously make money when I have fun in New Orleans, amazing. And then the Bay, I feel like the Bay has like already caught my heart, and I don't know if it could like, I don't know, I can't let go of the Bay. The Bay is so nice. There's so many awesome communities. Like tomorrow, I got a couple friends. I volunteer with Segorte too, so shout out Segorte. So like I'm either like volunteering at Segorte with the land, which makes me feel like it's rooting me back to my islands whenever I help this island, which is the giant turtle island. Like the connection is there, like when I'm in the dirt or on the stage, you know. So it's
Absolutely,
nice in
and
the Bay. I like the
yeah,
Bay.
that's what I was. I'm just like noticing, like, man, I should be spending more time in the Bay Area.
You should. You're not
Is
far if you're in Santa
no,
Cruz.
I take the train sometimes from out here, and it's fun. I just get dropped off right there at like the Giants Stadium or some shit, and just
Perfect.
like kick it in SF for the day or whatever.
Perfect.
But I was gonna ask, is there a big like burlesque or drag shows going on in Hawaii right now, or is that something that's not big over
It's
there?
starting. So I identify as Two Spirit, and I also identify as Mahu. And so Mahu is like the Two Spirit for Hawaii.
Okay.
It's the third gender in Hawaii. And so I would also identify more specifically as like Mahu Ho'ovahine, which is like a transitioning female Mahu. Um, and then the opposite would be Mahu Ho'okane, and Kane is male.
Okay.
And so I like to say lately, and a lot of other people have been saying it too, there's like a Mahu renaissance. We got a lot of important queer people in starting from our music, because they never stole us away from our music, and if they did, we took it back quick. Because we were like, just like many Two Spirit cult like roles in their culture is like we were healers, we were musicians, we were storytellers, etc. You know, and I think it's helped. Shout out to Kumuhina Le Moana is some a public figure, a Mahu icon. She has a halau, which is a hula school, and she also get what am I trying to say? She does a lot, and so her combined with like Lanakila Manguel, shout out to Lanakila. He does a lot on the Big Island. He's been doing a lot of land projects combined with like a lot of different prayer journeys. He's been combining. There's a bit, so a lot of the things that have been bringing me back home is also prayer journeys, and so I've been connected with the Run for Salmon. I did that last year, and so the Run for Salmon combined with a lot of other Pit River Nation prayers, and there's also the ancestral prayer and another prayer. Lanakila has brought that form of prayer in movement back home to the Big Island, which is where my mom's side is from. I grew up Oahu, and Lanakila has like, it's like a contemporary combination of like our chants and our form of prayer mixed with the running, which is like beautiful to see, because he's been doing it for like a good amount of years with a lot of other Hawaiians and supporters and Japanese folks who fly out. And Leon's this dope Shasta and Wintu uncle. He flies out from California, and it's like a mixed intertribal prayer as well. And so there's just a lot of mahus doing a lot of cool things. Lanakila does that for Makahiki season. Kumuhina does a lot of things just on a regular. We have the Mauna movement. We have Red Hill. And, I guess your question was just burlesque in Hawaii. But,
No, I love it. Go on, keep going. Because
like,
that actually goes right into the next question, which is what does decolonize or land back mean to you? And then I had a couple other questions about Hawaii too, but that's perfect.
Okay, perfect.
No, you're doing perfect.
I'll just like combine them. I'll weave them together.
Yeah, exactly. You were doing perfect.
Thank you. Cool. So yeah, we have a lot of different in Hawaiian. It's like similar to like water protector and land protector, but protector is just kia'i. So we would say kia'i vai or kia'i mauna, because we also have ku kia'i mauna, which is like protect the mountain, because we have the Mauna Kea movement, and then kia'i vai, which is like a lot of the kia'i vai these days, the water protectors these days, they're fighting for Red Hill and other places that are getting poisoned, or like even some beaches are just like, we're finding out like the boats are like leaking certain things, the sand have secretly lead in them, like what the hell. So I've seen a lot of people who are doing awesome kia'i vai and kia'i mauna work, who are also just making it a safer place. I'd say, I guess, yeah. Okay, gas me up too, and like me and my crew as well. Like we're all making it a safer place for mahu back home, and so with that, that I would also answer is like bringing out the burlesque scene more, because now like we come in as a crew, take up the stage on Scarlet's or like this place or that place or this one art show. So the burlesque scene is growing, I would say. And then with decolonizing, I think I've really let that word saturate since like maybe 2019. But I was like, okay, well, especially because I love words and poetry, I'm like, what's the other words around that? And we got like decolonize, but then that also means you gotta like take accountability and also call other people out on accountability for the colonizers and the colonizers within us. And so that's a part of decolonize. And then re-indigenize too. And so like once you've like taken out the colonized perceptions, the colonized actions, and whatever that like we catch ourselves doing, what do we do instead? And I've been for a while I've been trying to focus on different parts. Like for example, this guy Roger says decolonize my sexuality, and he's an awesome like two-spirit, or I think he's indigenous and queer in the Bay Area, and he says decolonize my sexuality. Simultaneously, without knowing that, I was like decolonize my pussy, and I was just like bringing that here. Wait, actually, to like ground myself, but also just share a poem. Can I share a poem?
Absolutely, do it.
Okay, I'll do decolonize my pussy because that's the one I got memorized. So it's Kakoldri, the idealism of taking a vacation in my thong, taste my brown skin, smell the class system in my pits, pre-coming with white savior complex. Blindfold the royalty, getting off on the struggle. Golden honey on your dick gags me golden honey on your dick gags me as a trick. Insatiable for the medicine, smudging pussy like it's your sage. I wear a collar, I'm a stray, I'm intermission, I'm your stage, domineering model minority trope to fill, rip, drop, copes and fills, transmitting submissive milk that kills, chopstick my punani, fragile. Open me like I'm hentai, you can't translate, spitting back the drips, you can't take supremacy, I still misread and navigate.
Hey, that was the first poem ever done on Burn the Wagon. So thank you. That was
Oh,
dope.
period.
Yeah, there you go.
I seen that you posted some poetry before on one of your accounts, and I was like, what? How is this the first?
Yeah, yeah. I personally don't like to post. So I post that on my personal page, but I don't post that here. Like for here, I want to amplify other people's voices, other people's stories,
Yeah.
more than mine. So yeah, thank you. That was dope. That was the first poem ever done.
Thank you.
Um,
I love first time.
yeah. And also something I wanted to ask about like tourism in Hawaii
Oh yeah,
is
it's
yeah.
shit.
How do you feel about that?
I get angry. Oh, the winds just picked up in my face right now. The winds are feeling my. Okay. But okay, it's not cute at all. And I really appreciate that since the pandemic, especially because Aotearoa, New Zealand, they did it. They were like, okay, we're just gonna, nope, no one can come. Close our borders because we're in like a pandemic. And Hawaii did it for a second, but then it slowly started opening, and also people started just like sneaking and like taking vax cards, and it was just a bunch of bullshit. And so like that combined with militarization and combined with tourism, like I shouldn't have to have grown up as like
Talk about it.
Hey.
I'm live, but it's okay. That's my friend Nidia. Shout out to Nidia. Love you. She was just snapping. She was going like that. But yeah, so like I feel like I shouldn't have to grow up in a place where we have so many beautiful different island baddies, Asian baddies, and like different baddies of all different colors. And I crave the white man and I crave the white girl. Like that's not okay. And then I just go through life like following that gaze that I learned, the white gaze or whatever. And like a huge part I feel with islanders, because I see it in a lot in many different islanders, is tourism will brainwash us because we realize that that's a huge economy. Everyone says like, what would you do without tourism? How would you like survive without tourism? Da 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 da. And it puts us in this like stuck place, but that's not true. You know, like because there's people on the Big Island, there's people in Kauai, there's people in Tonga, etc., etc., etc. There's people in Aotearoa. Like there's so many different islanders that are still practicing what we used to practice, which is like self-sufficiency and autonomy, because we're connected with the land. And there are still people who are doing tourist jobs and connected with the land back home in Hawaii, who I get because like it's so expensive to like just survive. Like in the next year or two, if I ever have to go back, because I might go back for a few months, and if I have to do that, I'm gonna have to work in like not only just burlesque, but I'm gonna have to probably also get a tourist job at a restaurant or a hotel or something like that, or take my burlesque to the streets because it's more sustainable to like street performers make a crap ton every single day in Oahu because there's a constant flow. Like there's no break. There's no break of tourism, and it's not cute. I think the only cute break was I missed it, but like family and friends have told me like when the pandemic just hit. Because when the pandemic just hit, tourists either left or they were staying in their hotels. And so when the locals were allowed to just go quarantine on the beach for a second, it was beautiful, you know, because it also affects our beaches so bad that there's so much erosion. And you don't even, like the same beach I look at when I was like 5 years ago, which is like, I shouldn't have to feel like a weird, like gentrification elder when I just go home every 2 years, 3 years, 4 years, 5 years and see new shopping mall, destroyed beach, oil spill, like more telescopes on the Mauna, like etc. I can go on, you know. Tourism is not cute, and I think there's ways to like have autonomy. And I also think on the positives too, just to like wrap it up with tourism, is like I feel like there are ways to come in, right? I'm saying this for the people of color, not for white people. Like white people just like don't. If you can make it where you're not going to Hawaii still, don't. Or any islands, don't. Because the pandemic's still happening, more diseases are coming out, and you're still poisoning our waters. So just don't. But for people of color, like this could be controversial, but I believe in it. Like there's ways, especially since I've been held so deeply, like I feel home with indigenous people on Turtle Island. Even though I do have Choctaw, but like still, I've been held so deeply. I feel like there's intercultural ways that we can all connect to help each other connect with the land better, connect with ourselves better, and fight for land back liberation, reparations, rematriation, etc. Like I think that is something we do need, is to continue weaving our cultures and our people together. But yeah, if you're white, you don't visit Hawaii. Just don't go right now.
And I've always told myself, because I've never gone over there, and I've always told, because like stuff that you're doing with Segurite Land Trust,
Yeah.
And I've also interviewed Sheridan. I'm gonna mess
No,
up.
Elani.
Yeah.
I love her.
So yeah, I've interviewed her too, and like I've always told myself after I had that conversation with her, like I only want to go over there if like I have a family or somebody that's an indigenous Hawaiian that invites me, and I want to work. I don't want to go over there just to like do some tourist ass shit, you know? Like,
Yeah.
I don't want to just go over there and be another person that's adding more trash, taking away another home from somebody or whatever, you know?
Yeah.
So I want to be of service if I do go there.
Yeah, see, there you go.
And I think,
thank you.
Yeah,
and
exactly.
I feel like that's something that a lot of people should push and keep pushing for when they're visiting any kind of islands, because it's such a small space that like your actions make an impact like that. And also it's something that we should, I've been seeing it, especially because I've been such a traveler my whole life, that like that's should be my mindset, should be our mindset for like anywhere we go, you know? Because then once I started like thinking, oh, okay, how can I be of service to these lands, even though it's like California? And like it was just funny because growing up, I like California in my head was just Disneyland. But then decolonizing even that is like, it's not just Disneyland. Shut the fuck up, BB. But taking it to anywhere, because even I got my Choctaw side is like white and Choctaw in Florida, and Florida's not always the best place to go.
Not right now.
No, it's not like. But I mean, I feel like it never was. But like, I know they're definitely transphobic. They're definitely homophobic. They're definitely like. They're just chaotic. It's 90 degrees. It's like thunderstorms at 3. I'm like, I don't need that.
My housemate is from out there. It's wild.
It's wild. It's wild. They're so crazy. They're nuts. They're nuts. And I feel with Florida, even taking that though, because when I was visiting New Orleans, I hopped to another state, and then I tried to make it back to New Orleans. And then because I was praying to my Choctaw ancestors, they said you're gonna get a 10-hour layover in Florida. And I was like, that's not a part of my plan. I didn't want to lay over in Florida. But they still took me there. And it did, for like a good second, like I felt like empathy, you know, like because that trip, even though it's supposed to just be a girls' trip with the girls in New Orleans, it turned into a personal prayer journey, because I started doing water prayer and land prayer in the form of dance for my friend's project back home in Hawaii. And I was like filming myself dance and pray to the waters and the land. And it took me to Florida. And I think even taking that mindset of even anywhere you go, treat it like Hawaii. Anywhere you go, period, be of service to the land and its people, because then it makes even the trip fuller. It makes I mean, there's so many positives, but also the biggest positive is like it'll help with land back and liberation, because then you see those people, like, and plus, like, I was thinking here and there back home in Hawaii, like if you're service to the land, if you're service to the people, if you're kia iwai, if you're kia imauna, and you're fighting, you're doing the prayer, you're doing whatever needs to be done, like you're not gonna not party. It's not like you just have to do that. Like you're always gonna go with that uncle or that stoner auntie, and then you just go smoke after, go drink after, go have a barbecue after, because you've done the work, and a part of doing the work is self-care. A part of doing the work is like nourishing your body along the way. And I feel like a lot of aunties and uncles at the very minimum know that. Like both in the Bay, both in Hawaii, like I've done a lot of projects, and then we go eat after. We go take care after.
I love that part.
Yeah.
After projects or events, I love the eating part afterwards.
Yeah!
That's my favorite part.
Yeah! Yeah! And I'm a hungry girl. There's 2 highlights on my Instagram.
That's
it's
one thing I've noticed is you love to eat.
I'll post it a lot. I have a highlight on Hungry Girl and a highlight on Go Home Howley, and that's what I've been talking about for 5 minutes. I'll like eat while talking about decolonizing my pussy for hours. I'll just be like, I mean, I'm also stoner auntie, so that definitely helps. But still, I'm a growing girl. I'm transitioning. I need to grow my body, or my body can't fully do what I need it to do.
Actually,
and also food is bomb.
I've been doing this new thing where I do have a couple rapid fire questions for some people.
Okay.
And I got a couple for you. Okay. Do you drink coffee?
Yes.
Drip or a shot of espresso?
Espresso, because it's cheap in the house next door.
Okay. Taco or burrito?
Burrito.
Okay. Cat or dog?
These days cats, but it's usually dogs.
Oh, okay. I love cats, but I'm down with dog. I'm down with. Okay. That's fun. Some homie like suggested I start doing that with people, so I started it. So like it's pretty fun just to get to know people and just yeah. Were there any topics that I didn't come up with that you wanted to bring up or let people know? Any upcoming shows that you got going on, or where they can check you out in the Bay Area? I know it's in your bio.
Shows. I can advertise shows. Wait, how do I? Did you read all the questions that you sent me?
I'm pretty sure, yeah.
Okay,
we didn't talk about Run for Salmon.
Oh, okay.
But you kind of
let me
brought that up a
talk
little
about Run for Salmon for a second, and then I'll advertise shows, and that should be good.
Okay, cool. Yeah. How was that experience? Because that's something I saw on a couple of people's pages, and it looked amazing. Yeah, I'll just let you go take it from there.
Yeah. I think Run for Salmon is a very special journey that I think is like really important in my growth and really important in the land's growth, and it answered a lot of different prayers, and it also brought me home. So it's an intertribal journey. That's where I met Sheridan. That's where I met Noelani. So I first I helped the Winnemem because I got a call while I was land tending last year with my friend Paula, Dadley, and a bunch of other cool people. And we were land tending, I think on your lands, because you're Pomo, yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah, so we're somewhere around there on this land project, and we're learning from the Kashaya Pomo, which I didn't know the Kashaya Pomo were 50, like the chief is 50% Hawaiian.
I didn't know that either. That's the tribe right below me.
Okay, and I was just tripping. And then eventually I met a Hawaiian who was like from that lineage, and she's like Kashaya Pomo Hawaiian. And it's just like there's a nuts connection between the West Coast and Hawaii. So I was always supposed to connect. In my eyes, I feel like it's ancestrally fulfilling to connect with the Cali natives and just anyone on this like West Coast. I was also always supposed to experience this part because so did my ancestors, and it was just so special seeing like tribes, like, okay, because the Run for Salmon is primarily led by the Winnemem Wintu, and they're hella erased. You know, they're not tribal, federally recognized, and they don't have much land, and like their family is small, and it was just so beautiful to see such, like, with all that, they're still pushing, they're still fighting, they're still praying, they're still educating, and they're praying for their salmons to come home. And that journey is also a powerful prayer, and also might have been another reason why I just happened to meet them, is because their journey is connected with the islands. The salmon got stolen during like trade days, from California, from these lands, and they got stolen to past Hawaii. Then they had to just cherry on top. Yeah, they wanted to steal ice from Mauna Kea for just because they were like, oh, if we're stealing eggs, salmon eggs, we have to ice them. So, of course, let's go to one of the most sacred mountains. We not even just buy them at the store. Go to the most sacred mountain, steal ice, and then go to Aotearoa. And so that's where it ends. The journey is New Zealand. And so in Aotearoa is where, like, there's such a high salmon population, and we got to learn about that in elementary because we learned about different islands. You learn that the salmon population is huge. And the salmon population is like a huge trading point in New Zealand. But a lot of those salmon are from these lands, which is such a nuts thing to think about. So that's what I learned, and that just made me fight harder, because we're praying to not only bring the salmon home, but when the salmon come swimming back, when their ancestors and their descendants are like connecting again, because they're like some of our oldest fish, we also need to clear the waterways, undam the dams, depollute the waterways, because the I think when we started texting or DMing, it was after I recently visited the Winnemem, and they had a signing between the fish hatchery and NOAA, which is like really big news. Like, Chief Kayleen Sis is an icon, and she's getting shit done, you know. And she did a signing that was basically like a handshake with the fish hatchery, saying that this and this and that, like, we're going to be on the same playing field, and you're going to listen to the chief, basically. Because the first time they brought in eggs, it was like not New Zealand eggs. It was not delivered the way that she wanted. She said helicopter, because that'll be safer for the eggs and transport. And then it was truck instead, and truck on like gravel dirt road is not good. And there was just a lot of factors that they ignored or didn't try hard enough to fulfill, that if they listened, it would have been safer for these ancestors that are the salmon. And so, like, now they're doing this. But then one of the saddest thing with the waters is, at that ceremony, the water was going backwards. The water was going upstream. Why? Because the dams. Because the floods and the rains, where Mother Nature was bringing California, blessing California with floods to, like, stop this drought. And here we have so many dams that when the floods come, the waters are stuck. And so they go the other way. And then at first I was like, fuck, that's so fucked up. But then it gets more fucked up, because then the birds and the fish, they're all swimming and they're flying the opposite direction.
Oh, shit.
These birds who should be heading towards the ocean, and these fish who should be heading towards the ocean, are heading upstream towards the spring. And that's not what anything should be like. They're like, the dams are so fucked up. I mean, we already know this, but like, just seeing that on that level, like, it will reverse the ecosystem and how its direction is usually pathed. And the direction is set there for a reason, because it works. But it doesn't work for some of these species to be heading that way. That'll kill these species. That'll like mess with their patterns, and it'll mess with their seasonal stuff, and it's just not cute. So when I like pray and when I do performance, like, I bring that in there. So I guess that leads to one more thing, is like, that journey, because Lanakila has brought that to the Big Island, and because like I've met a lot of Cali natives and Hawaiians on that journey, like it's brought me home. And so like going back home with our waters getting poisoned by the military, it's affected and influenced one of my most favorite performances I've done. It was for Bates Two Spirit Powwow, and I everyone else was serving camp. They're all Two Spirit performances. Everyone was serving camp, but I brought in like a gory oil spill embodiment. Because I was visiting lands on these lands that were poisoned, and then I was also brought back home to Hawaii. And so that's another connection with my burlesque and drag in the Bay Area is I've been able to find stages where I can like deliver messages like that, which is like really important. And it was just a brunch gig, but I was this like slick, like black latex and acrylic on like denim and other stretchy fabrics, and I was like this mimicked oil spill, and in the greater scheme I was having a conversation and embodying water that has been poisoned. And yeah, so and that performance and that prayer and that all that like has just influenced more of my art, more of how I pray, and more of how I connect and watch and like listen to the waterways. And just like seeing the water go backwards at that ceremony was just such a trip, because I feel like the way I've started connecting with water is it also sometimes influences how I cry. And like when I've come to certain droughted areas, I feel like I cannot cry. When I've come to flooded areas, I bawl my eyes out. And like it was just so weird. Like the water going backwards was just like it was messing with my head. When you're empathizing with our waters in like the way that I've tried to, like, and you come across so many poisoned waters and so many this and that, it messes with your head, and it's just not cute. And but it also just messes with the entire system. But yeah,
You do some like you should do some pretty like, because the American flag one with that, like you should do some really dope deep pieces, I feel like, because that one and the one that you just described are pretty like are pretty deep and pretty dope, you know what I mean? I like the obviously I haven't seen it, but I like the idea of what you're explaining of it. I think that shit's sick. But yeah, I think that's all the topics that I had for you today, unless you want to plug your shows right now. You can do that definitely right now. I can't hear you. Could you hear me? Oh, wait. Hello? Hello? All right, there we go. My fucking headphones turned on. All right, could you hear me? Hello? God damn it, my headphones turned on, so it's not working for some reason. Um, God damn it. That was the show. Hopefully, I know I can't. My headphones, my Bluetooth turned on for some reason, and it cut us out. So I don't think we're gonna be able to get back on. Could you hear me now? Nothing. God damn it. Yeah, let's try that real quick. This happened last time. I knew this was gonna happen to my headphones. Okay, can anybody hear me? Comment if you can hear me. and we'll see what this does. God damn it. Could you guys hear me? All right, we're trying to get her back in here so she can promote her dates and performances coming up. Hopefully, you guys will be able to hear me. All right, cool. Thank you. All right, try to invite you back in. We'll see if I can hear you.
Okay, can you hear me? I can hear you now.
I can hear you now too. Okay, let's go. So go ahead and promote your dates and whatever you have coming up, and then anything else you want to talk about too.
Okay, I think I what did you say after I said about the poison waters? Because I was talking about the poison waters and I saw you speaking for a second, but I couldn't hear nothing.
I think what was it that I said? I don't know. I got frustrated with not being able to hear, and I was thinking
Oh
about
damn.
the audio afterwards.
Damn, it's
Um,
okay. Okay, then I'll just promote. Um yeah, mahalo piha everybody for watching. I've seen a lot of friends tune in. Um but just to promote, because I got booked a lot for Asian Pacific Islander month and I'm starting to get booked for Pride in the Bay. So that's really fun. So my most recent next show is May 31st. May 31st.
and where's that at?
That's going to be at the White Horse in Oakland. The White Horse is kind of near Berkeley. And it's hosted by Rebel Kings, and it's Rebel Kings API show, Asian Pacific Islander show.
Okay.
And I have it in my heart. I think I'm going to bring out Uncle BB again, especially because Rebel Kings is a bunch of drag kings. So there's Rebel Kings API show at May 31st, Oakland. And then we got June 2nd. June 2nd is going to be a big one. Everybody write this into their calendars now. June 2nd, San Francisco. I got my first debut at Oasis, which is a big drag club. And like they got big stars go there and stuff. And this is going to be an API show funded by also GAPA, which is a gay and Pacific Islander and Asian organization, and they're funding this drag show. It's called Transform Asians, and it's a cast of all trans and all Asian or Pacific Islander performers. And so that's on June 2nd, Oasis, Transform Asians. Then fast forward, June 4th at Cantico Farms, the place where I live. There's going to be a drag show with me and another Islander bestie. They're Filipino and they're baddie. They're bakla. They're babaylan. And so that's like our mahu. And we're gonna do a mini tag team drag team at Cantico Farm June 4th. And it's called Island Mischief and Island Mayhem. I'm Island Mayhem. And then she's booked in June. Okay, June 9th is this thing at Soma Arts in the city in SF. And Soma Arts, they're doing this huge cultural, queer cultural film festival. So before I even found out it was a film festival, I got booked for their opening. So the opening is called Murmurations, and all the people I'm working with and all the people who are booking me are at least Indigenous and queer. so that's super cool, and the pay is really well. But it's called Murmurations, and it's the opening ceremony and opening performances for this art exhibit and film festival. And so that's June 9th at Soma Arts. And then we're going down the list. Then we got to Pride, and Pride weekend is popping. So one of my pole dancing teachers, Zara, shout out to Zara. Zara is hosting this event called Queer Femme Parties. And Queer Femme Parties will be on Pride Day, Saturday. And so Queer Femme Parties is going to be a good time. It's going to be great. It's going to be fun. It's going to be brown and black queer femmes on the pole doing burlesque. And well, that's going to have pole, burlesque, and go-go's all in one party. And that's going to be in Oakland during SF Pride on June 24th. And also previously that morning, around noon or 1, I'm booked on the trans dance stage. So there's a trans stage in SF, and so I'm going to be dancing there. And then June 25th, there's some upcoming things, but all those are maybes, so I won't fully promote it, but be prepared June 25th and 24th.
Hey.
But that's my promo. That's my promo.
You're getting a lot of love.
Think about Poison Waters and look at my shows.
Getting a lot of love in the comments right now, too. Thank you so much for joining. I really, really appreciate it.
Oh my gosh, a lot of love.
Yeah, hell of love right now. I definitely appreciate you and definitely look forward to all the things that you're doing. And hopefully when I'm in the Bay, we'll be able to do an in-person interview, because that's definitely my dream, is to do in-person, not all on live. But yeah, and like you said,
the connection is more there.
Yeah, definitely. So you're definitely super close. So one of these days we'll connect. Yeah. And hopefully see you out there doing your thing. I love it.
Thank you so much. It was an honor to talk on here. The first podcast I heard from you was like you interviewing another auntie drag queen. And I was like, wow, perfect. I love it.
And Auntie Chanel, she was actually in here and she commented. She shows all of love, man. I love her.
Oh, really cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, she was the first podcast I heard from you.
She was definitely in here showing love. So she's definitely out there.
Cool. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. I appreciate it and looking forward to everything you're doing.
Yeah. Okay. Have a great one.
You too.
See you. Bye.
Yep. Thank you, everyone, for joining. I really appreciate it. Whoever comments, whoever watching, definitely go check her out. All her dates are in her bio of what she's doing. If anybody would like to join me, definitely tap in, share this with your fam, share it with your aunties, share it with your uncles. And remember these 3 things: take care of our precious Mother Earth, take care of our elders, and the 7 generations to come after us. Peace and love, y'all.